Hey, what's up everyone? This is Yes Alex. I'm Alex. This is some pretty bad lighting. And this is the brand new flagship for Google, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus on the Verizon network. Let's take a look at it. Alright, now that we're actually looking at the phone, let's start off by talking about the specs. So it's got a 4.65-inch diagonal screen, 720p, Super AMOLED screen, meaning that the blacks are super dark and the whites are supposed to be brighter. It weighs about 5.1 ounces, which is pretty light. It's got 32 gigabytes of memory, a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor, along with 1 gigabyte of memory. This is, of course, got 4G LTE technology. Look at that, 4G right there. And a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, along with a 5 megapixel camera on the back and one LED. This is capable of shooting 1080p, 30 frames per second, and yeah. It's also got the new NFC technology that I'll talk about later in the video, and we'll talk about how that looks and worked out. And of course, it's got all the other basic things these smartphones have nowadays: gyroscope, GPS, etc., etc. This is all running on the brand new 4.0 ice cream sandwich. It's actually been updated. I think it's like 4.0.2. But yeah, so it's running on the new ice cream sandwich by Google, which is supposed to unite, the tablets and the cell phones, and really hasn't been put out yet. This is the flagship. This is the first device really to have it. Let's take a look at the what buttons it's got and all that kind of stuff. So on the top, it's got nothing. On the right, it's got a sleep button, which takes a little getting used to, but I mean, it's fine. It's got these 3 little gold dots, which are for the NFC connection. On the left, we have a volume rocker, and then pretty plain. And then on the bottom, we have a micro USB and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The headphone jack being on the bottom took a little getting used to, but actually, I kind of like it now better than on the top. At first, I was like, oh, this is really weird or whatever, but I actually found it worked well when it was in my pocket and it was on the bottom. The whole device has a curved shape to it. You can't see too much of the curve because this 4G one's a little thicker, but it's got a bit of a curve to it, and it feels good in your hand. The back's got this grip. It's got a good feel to it. Man, fingerprints are really showing up on this screen right now, but it's not too bad in real life. And of course, if you get one of those plastic covers, it's never that bad. Two things that I noticed from the start that I just love about it is the fact that it's super light and that it's skinny. It's really light for an Android phone, and it's really skinny for these 4G LTE phones nowadays. But I just have to say that, it fits well in my pocket considering how big the screen is. Now unlocking it, somewhat like before, you got a little lock thing. You can also unlock it with a passcode, facial recognition, which has some problems because you can hold a picture up to it and that counts as facial recognition. But you can go right here and you can drag to unlock it or to go directly into the camera. The only thing I wish it had, which some of the new HTCs and Motorola's, I believe, that had custom kind of stuff going on, is that you can put an app up here and you can unlock it to whatever app you want. But so let's go ahead and unlock it and go into this operating system, to the main home screen. That's the default clock right there, and some default Google apps that it comes with. Let's start off by running a quadrant score. So we'll go over to quadrant, run full benchmark. I know some people prefer other scoring things, but I like quadrant. It's what I've used in the past. We're going to stick with it for this video. Let it run. Sometimes take a second. Let me get a sip of water. My nice water. Ooh, look at that water. It's taking a little bit of time, but it always stops right out here. One thing I do notice when it's actually running this is the graphics are actually better than some of my, I can see that the frames are actually, there's more frames loading than in when I've done this on older phones. Alright. So we skipped ahead a little bit, and this is what we got. So we got actually a bit lower score than I've been getting. I've usually been getting a 1475, which is usually higher than any of these other phones ranked currently. So I find this a little disappointing, but we'll stick with this for the video because this is what I got when I was doing the video. So it's up there. It's better than, you know, a lot of the other phones currently out there. And we'll see if Quadrant gets updated to be able to handle the dual core processing simulations a little better. But let's move on. One of the best features that I found in this phone compared to any other Android I've owned is the battery life. Look at it right there. I mean, it's still at like 90% battery, and it's been on for hours. It has the battery life almost of like an iPhone. For anyone who doesn't own an iPhone, you know, most people can get through an entire day with no problem on their iPhones. And many people complain and have to carry around 2 batteries for Androids. It just drives a lot of people insane. So that is my biggest thing that I love about this phone. I don't know if it's so much of the phone, the operating system, or combination. I think it's a combination, but that is just great news. Also, I'm finding is the keyboard is very smooth. I like it on this bigger screen, and it's the predicted text works much better for me. I find out of any phone I've used, I can probably type fastest on this than any other phone. I'm trying to talk and look at the screen and do all these things at once, so I can't really type. But the predicted text works much better for me than my old Androids, and even I think my iPhone. But and the screen's very large, so you have plenty of, you know, the letters are big. It's just, it works well. Next up, we're actually going to talk about just the phone quality, actually using this thing as a phone. So I did about 5-10 calls, and my voice sounded very crisp and clear. I called a landline, and it sounded great. There were no complaints. People thought I don't know, they thought I was in a full signal area, and I think I only had 1 bar. So that's a good sign right there of just the phone, partially also Verizon, just good sound quality. My complaint is that the speaker right here on the back is very quiet. If I was driving in a car and I set this down, especially if I set it down this way versus this way, I don't think I'd be able to hear anyone, which is a bit annoying. But if you're going to be doing that much speaker phoning, I'd recommend a Bluetooth anyways. You know, one of those little earpieces that go in your ear. Anyways, let's move on. One thing that I do have to mention is that Verizon has already come out and said that they are having connection issues with the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, this phone, and the Verizon network. Now, there is a fix on its way. There's no ETA, but personally, it's felt like it's just been a tad slow, and I've had not as many bars as I should. Like, I swear I usually have a little more signal strength in my room than that, but I figure I can still make a phone call, and I had less bars when I was doing the phone call tests. So I'm not too concerned. And there will be a fix for that. Don't make that a big priority in deciding whether this is the phone for you or not. I do have to mention, as long as I'm in the topic, that on Pandora I've had to wait 5, maybe 10 seconds, which I know is not a big deal, but it's a little annoying when you're listening to music to buffer each song, not like at the beginning, but each song. So that's a bit annoying. Whether that was on 4G, 3G, Wi-Fi, any sort of G, I've had a little bit of trouble. Hopefully that'll be fixed when the Verizon pushes their fix for the entire network. Let's move on to the web browser. I find the web browser very fast. Let's just refresh. We'll go to MSN because we're already on CNN. MSN. As you can see, it loads very fast. Of course, it's taking, there we go. And I mean, it's very responsive. The pinch to zoom is very fast. There's no waiting for like text to come into focus. It's instantly focused. Sometimes it takes a second, you know, when you zoom out, but to load the rest of the screen, but that's not bad at all. That's pretty good for a phone. My complaint is that this native browser still doesn't have tab browsing. It has, where's that button? It's up here. It's got, you know, these panels that I can go up and down through, and it keeps them going, but I don't understand why it doesn't have Chrome, why it doesn't have tabs. There's so many third-party web browsing apps that have tabs, and anyone who's used tabs, which should probably 99% of you guys that are watching this, tabs are just so much better. Like, I can't even remember before tabs, like the days before tab browsing on your computer were just horrible. Like, it's horrible to go back to that. Once again, don't make that your deciding factor. I mean, there's so many third-party ones, and you can set, the beauty of these Androids, you can set those third-party as your default. So that's really not a big deal at all. I just find it somewhat amusing that they don't have tabs in their native web browsing. I mean, come on. Let's move on to the camera and movie studio. So let's start off with the camera. The camera quality itself is pretty good. Hopefully you can see that. I think that's a pretty bad angle. But the camera, the back 5 megapixel camera, it's only 5 megapixels. I don't understand why it's not 8. That's what all the other smartphones that are coming out right now, the iPhone, the other Androids, they're all 8. I don't understand why they didn't make this an 8. But for a 5 megapixel camera, it's very good. I would say, unless you're holding like an 8 megapixel camera here and a 5 megapixel camera here, you're probably not even going to notice the difference. The colors seemed very nice, so I wouldn't really complain about that. It's, once again, like the browsing is it's just weird. But if you're a huge camera user, it is a bit of a turn off. But if you're a huge camera user, maybe you should actually get a camera. And the front-facing camera, well, that's about the best camera there is on the market currently. It's a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, like I mentioned before, and that's about the highest quality, hey, what's up, that they sell right now. So that's nothing to worry. One of the nice features I like about the back camera is that it's got this built-in panorama thing. I find it actually doesn't work that well, but you know, so you can like sit here and take a picture like the Grand Canyon or whatever and get a full view, but that only works so well. Now, let's talk about movie studio. So now that you've actually taken or shot your movie, you can come in here, we'll back out, and you can do like create a new project, and we can make it go, sure, why not? And then we import our footage, or you can take it right then, but we'll just import a video clip for right now. From the gallery, you can choose also from your like hard drive if you put something on here from your computer. I only have one video, so I have to pick this video. And then we can also say import like an image, and I'll grab it from the gallery too. We'll go with this, and you can sit here and you can crop each end, and you can combine those two. You can set the length of the picture. You can add music tracks in the background from your phone or from the Google Music, which is very nice. And it works well. It's basic, it's simple, it works well enough. You can also export it, and you can choose your quality, and it's very nice. I give it a thumbs up. One of the other things I want to mention is, many people already know about this, but it's Google Navigation. So it's actually a real full level GPS. Meaning that, say I'm driving down the street, you know, like in my iPhone, if I make a wrong turn, it doesn't like recalculate, like if you've ever owned a real GPS, you know, recalculating and it, you know, figures out the new route for you. This is a full GPS, meaning when I turn off right instead of left, because I am crazy and just wanted to get lost for fun, that it'll recalculate and from there find the new route, which is very nice. And of course it's also got, whoop, didn't mean to leave that. And it's also got, someone will talk to me, you know, it's got voice, and it's got places, and I'm sure you can customize this more. The only thing is, it's still a beta, meaning you could risk once in a while getting a little lost, like if it doesn't know a certain street name that's brand new, or it just kind of messes up. But Google takes things very slow, so I'm sure for a beta, it's a very solid beta. One of the last things I want to talk about is the videos. So you can now rent videos on the Android marketplace if you're not aware. And I was watching a video, forgot about that. And I was watching this to give you guys some quality information. So the market is just like the Android market setup. It's got staff picks, it's got favorites, 99-cent movies, you know, basic Android market style. And then you can stream them right to your phone after purchasing them. I got Limitless for 99 cents, great deal. And I was watching it, and it buffered and streamed it out instantly. I watched most of the movie. I didn't have to, because I've already seen it. I didn't have to wait for any sort of buffering or anything. I could even, you know, drag it and skip forward in the movie, and it was fine. And the quality for a phone was just great. So not only was the phone screen great, but you know, it was buffering it out so well. I really could tell that I was actually watching an HD movie, not just some like kind of shitty movie on my cell phone, but like an HD movie on like a media device. It was nice. It was enjoyable. And with the large screen, I was actually able to see what was going on, not just the people's faces. Like I could see what was going on in the background or something else happening. So last thing I want to talk about NFC technology, those little gold things right there. The idea being you can pay for stuff like at McDonald's, 7-Eleven, anywhere it's got those, like you can touch your credit cards to machines. And this is the, I believe, second device to have it. There's also this device on Sprint currently has it. But Google Wallet's not actually on here. So the technology is here, it's turned on, but you can't get the app from the marketplace. For what is believed is happening is Verizon's actually not allowing Google to use it because they're calling it security measures. But what's rumored to be going on is Verizon's trying to come out with their own like paid service. Like, you know how they got their own paid GPS service? It's rumored that Verizon's trying to get their own paid one so they make, you know, a monthly fee, can charge you more money for something that Google is just trying to do for free. So they've blocked that, and I think they're in debates. But for you can easily go online. Maybe I'll put a link down below and download it. Maybe I'll make a video on this. I don't know. There'll be something down below if you want to know about this. And you can easily download the app on your computer and transfer it onto this device. It took me under 5 minutes, and anyone who knows anything about computers could easily do it. So once you get it downloaded, you get the little app, and it's nice. Let me enter my PIN. I've had some trouble trying to hook up my MasterCard to it. You currently can't do Visas, but oh yeah, I got too many attempts and it's making me wait 24 hours. It said the information was correct but couldn't connect to the data center, so I don't know if somehow they know that I'm not supposed to have this. But for signing up, I did get a free $10 prepaid gift card from Google that I was able just to activate. And yeah, and if I've gotten the chance to use this before this review is over, the video will play right now. So when I actually went to McDonald's and tried to buy something, it was very nice. I don't even have to open up the app. I just had to unlock the phone, and as you can see, you just hold it against the thing, and then I was able to make my purchase. I found the key is you definitely got to hold it against the machine, otherwise it doesn't quite work right. But so that was cool. Got to use that. Personally, I have to say, I don't really see the advantages in NFC technology. I feel it's a bit like Surrey, a bit of a fab. It's gonna go out of style. Not style, but it's not that essential. This was actually probably my favorite thing looking forward to this, but as I thought about it, I drive, so I'm always gonna have my wallet that's got my credit cards in it. Sure, it's a bit faster and cooler maybe, but it doesn't have like a distinct advantage compared to maybe your credit cards. But yeah, we'll have to see what people use it and what they make of it. Alright, now you guys can come back to my amazing face and my North Face beanie. Not a product placement, I'm not getting paid. But what are my final thoughts about this thing? Would I use it over an iPhone? I don't know, it's a close call. I'll have a direct review comparison between the iPhone and this phone right here. When I get that up, I'll put a link right here. You got that. But would I use it over any other Android device currently sold? Yes. By far, this is so much better than any other Android phone. The battery life is just amazing. The keyboard is just so much. It's just so much better. It's so much smoother, responsive. The front-facing camera is top of the line. The thinness and the lightness, it fits in my pocket so well. Let me check what else I have to say. I wrote some of this stuff down, you know. So if you're looking for an Android device, this is definitely the way I would go. Battery life alone is reason enough to get this phone over any other Android device currently sold. You can go a whole day without having to recharge it, which I can't say about any other Android device I've owned. I haven't owned a ton, but I've read reviews, and everyone agrees, Android phones suck at battery life. So, yeah. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on those comparisons or future reviews or future thoughts of this. And check out my Facebook, link down below. And I'll see you guys later.